1952 Southwest Conference football season was strictly up to par, featuring that brand of harum-scarum football that's the delight of fans from coast to coast. The 1952 season saw the end of a football era, for it brought to a close the two-platoon system. But now let's check in for some football action at Memorial Stadium in Austin, where the University of Texas and the University of Arkansas have at it. The Texas Longhorns carry the punch to Arkansas's Razorbacks as we pick them up just 5 minutes deep in the first quarter. Dawson has the pitch out to the Arkansas 7. By the way, you'll note Gibb wears number 44 instead of his regular number 47, and here is one of the better human interest yarns of 1952. Up to now, Dawson has not scored a single point, but Gibb requested Jackie Crane's old number, and it works as the Longhorns lead 7-0. As a junior in 1951, Gibb Dawson led the conference in scoring with 62 points. So far this season, just 7. But whether or not the numbers on the jerseys have anything to do with it, these hard-blocking Longhorns give Lady Luck a lot of help, and Gibb racks up his number 2 touchdown for the day. Adds extra point, and it's Texas 14-0. The Razorbacks have a second period try from their own 34. St. Pierre, he's one to Jerry Bogard. The big left end turns in a fine catch for 13 yards and a first down on the 47. Number 43 in the Arkansas backfield is Jack Truxell at left halfback. He gets the call to take a handoff up the left side for 9 more yards. But a fumble stops the Razorbacks, so we go further along in the second period to watch Dick Ochoa's belated lateral to Gibb Dawson. Ochoa's 8 plus Dawson's 11 picks up 19 yards. The Longhorns started this particular drive 80 yards away from pay dirt on their own 20. With 48 still to go, Jones and Stolhansky go up and over to carry Texas 29 yards closer to the goal line. This well-balanced, hard-hitting attack the Longhorns mount this October afternoon finds the passes clicking, the line opening up well for fast breaks by Dick Ochoa, Billy Quinn, and Gibb Dawson, who just simply gobble up the yards. And then, to better show you just how this comes about, let's watch a slow-motion study of a scoring play. C.T. Jones, he sends Gibb Dawson straight ahead for his 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. 21-0, Texas leads the Razorbacks. At halftime, Texas is out in front 28-0, and early in the 3rd quarter, the Razorbacks begin to roll. St. Pierre connects with Buddy Sutton for a first down on the Texas 23. The Arkansas passing game clicks as St. Pierre continues his left-handed shots. Ron Forrester makes a good target, a good catch, and a good run to add 15 more yards for Arkansas. And now watch the Razorbacks mix them up. There's some fine deception. Murray Elton goes wide to the outside to rack up the only Arkansas score of the day. And that's it. The Longhorns go on to win 44-7. A week later at Waco, the Baylor Bears are homecoming host to Texas A&M. Cotton Davidson's pass to Charlie Smith gets the first Baylor score. It's 7-0 Bears. After the kickoff, the Aggies line up for a 4th down punt. Mr. Roy Dollar puts his toe to the ball and gives it a 47-yard ride upfield to Jerry Cootie. Here's how you rub out a good kick. The fleet-footed Cootie combines speed with some grand downfield blocking for 36 yards on the punt return. The Bears make the most of it, and Davidson sends Don Carpenter through center for a first down on the 24. Another first down on the 12, and Carpenter adds another gem to the cluster of sparklers with a dice to the 1. And then comes Jerry Cootie to count for the touchdown. Brocato's toe gives the Bears a commanding 14-0 lead in the first quarter. Second period, the Aggies trim the margin with a page from Baylor's book on how to wipe out a good punt. Sophomore Joe Boring catches Davidson's kick on his 46. He proceeds to demonstrate what sheer speed plus good downfield blocking can do. There's a brilliant 45-yard return to the Baylor 9-yard line. And that's the chance the Aggies need. Opportunity knocks. Charlie Hall chews up 6 of those 9 yards. Just 3 more to go. And then the Aggies gouge a hole for Don Kostick. Point is missed, and it's 14-6 for Baylor's Bears. Still second period. The Aggies set out to close that gap again. Watch Ray Graves play the option. Dealer's choice. Pass pitch off for Ambulate. It's a nice keeper for 18 yards and a first down on the Baylor 9. Well, the Aggies like those traffic jams, and Don Kostick runs all the stop signs. It's a tight tally now, 14-13 Baylor. The experts will tell you that the Aggie backfield turned in one of its better performances this Saturday afternoon. That's by way of saying the blocking was good downfield as well as up. Let's watch a drive that calls for all the talents of Hall and Kostick and Ellis. Ray Graves directs a series of short jabs through well-cut holes. And here's pictorial proof of the power you get from that T formation with its quick opening options well concealed in the mysteries of clever ball handling. The Aggies ring the dinner bell again and go out front 20-14 over Baylor. About 5 minutes to go in the ball game. Allen Jones is off on a sideline gallop. Looks like he goes all the way, but wait. He stepped out of bounds at the 15, and the Bears have to start all over again from that point. Cotton Davidson is most of the ball handler, the kicker, and the passer, but he can run too, and this ties the score. Brocado converts. 21-20, Baylor, the final score. November 8th, SMU and Texas A&M play before 42,000 at Dallas. The Mustangs' Jerry Norton, wearing a familiar number 44, reminds many a Dallas fan of another Mr. 44, Kyle Rote, as he sparks the ponies on the ground and in the air in a close, tough battle with the Aggies. The first score comes in the second period on a pass, Norton to Jimmy Horn. Stolenwork's kick makes it 7-0. Then the Mustangs make with the ABCs of blocking fundamentals. Jerry Norton, moving on two bad ankles, gets a hand from Dale Moore to cut out two men. Then Horn clears the way at the 10-yard line, and the Mustangs lead the Aggies 14-0. Little more than a minute left in the first half. An Aggie drive travels mostly on the pitching arm of Ray Graves. Jerry Crossman is the boy who's downfield to do the catching, and catching he does for a first down on the Pony 22. Now 49 seconds to play. Graves looks over the field, spots Eric Miller on the 1-yard line. That makes a real threat. A line play fails, so Graves is set to throw it over, makes a quick switch in the plan, and the Aggies move 6 points closer to the Ponies as time runs out. 14-6 at halftime, SMU. Right after the kickoff, passes put the Ponies on the Aggie 17. Jerry Norton to wire up some good running with timely blocks, and the Ponies put another patch on the scoreboard, 21-6. Minutes to go. Roy Dollar moves out from the man under spot with a fake and a keep. He's clear, wide to the left. Here's how football looks to a worm as Dollar goes 26 yards to the Mustang 25-yard line. The Aggie attack still in high gear. They have found a soft spot on the outside. Good blocking really pays off, and this time Pete Mayo goes the distance. But that tells the story. The Ponies win 21-13. That same weekend at Fayetteville, Rice and Arkansas get together in an old-fashioned scoring bee. Barb Garbrecht goes 19 yards for the first score. Fence-to-maker's kick makes it 7-0 Rice. 6 minutes later, the Owls climax a 76-yard drive. Dan Drake lofts a beauty out to Jack Day, just over the head of two Razorbacks. Jack wins a furious foot race, and the play pays off at 53 yards. Fence-to-maker's second point puts the Owls out front 14-0. In the first minute of the second period, Lamar McCann's high punt sails downfield. Horton Necester is on the Rice 38-yard line. The Mighty Mite goes easily to midfield, picks up a nice convoy of blockers, slips through the Arkansas roadblock, and scores on a 62-yard punt return. And another Fence-to-make a bullseye puts the Owls ahead 21-0. But you've heard about inflation, and 21 points don't go far this autumn afternoon. In the touchdown bank, it's easy come, easy go. The Razorbacks begin to cash a few checks as Larry Hogue gets 14 and a first down on the Rice 6. Captain Buddy Sutton high off the high board for a touchdown, and the Razorbacks begin to close up the gap on the scoreboard. Just before the half ends, Arkansas proves it knows a few tricks too. The flying heels of Jack Troxell carry him on a gallop around right end for 32 yards. And watch that Don Roden of Rice move in some daring defensive work from behind, but it's still a first down on the Owl 9. The Rice line stops another wide sweep, so McCann goes overhead, flips one to Floyd Sagely. The kick was missed, but the Razorbacks are back in the ball game, trailing 21-13 at halftime. Early in the third period, McCann baffles the Owls long enough to ripple 20 unfettered yards for the third Arkansas tally. That makes it 21-19, and the Razorbacks are not through yet. Larry Hogue gets 7 yards on a delayed buck right through the middle. Then Truxell and Sutton grind up 7 more on the ground. And then McCann calls his own number once again and does a fourth down quarterback sneak to put the Razorbacks out in front for the first time, 26-21. Now the Owls add some weight to their end of the seesaw. Lois Bridges gets 16 yards with a brilliant catch of Drake's pass, good for a first down on the Arkansas 15-yard line. The same Owl twosome teams once again, and as a result, watch that lead change hands once again, 26 Rice. Leroy Fence-to-maker still converting those extra points, and they begin to look bigger and bigger. As the score in this ball game continues to climb, McCann doesn't change tactics, and heaves a long, towering throw that sails way downfield to Jack Troxell. 35 yards by air, 25 by land for another tally. Razorbacks on top again, 33-28. Now Rice counters once more. Hosty Johnson's the boy on the big white horse riding 53 yards. Fence-to-maker adds his 5th straight point of the day. The Owls win as a last-minute field goal try by Arkansas falls short of the crossbar. Final score, 35-33, Rice. You'll remember that was the same score of that high-scoring thriller between Texas and Baylor played at Waco. But before we check in on that game, suppose we move over to the sidelines and take a look behind the scenes. For example, have you ever thought about the tremendous amount of detail that goes into the handling of tickets for a football game? Our friends at the University of Arkansas tell us that the preliminary task of matching every single ticket against the stadium blueprint is in itself a month-long operation that requires the full time of 4 people. These and other operations, such as the handling of requests for tickets to the satisfaction of thousands of Razorback fans, are managed by Mrs. Goldie Jones. She's now celebrating her 25th year in the athletic office at Fayetteville. While it's true that most folks want seats on the 50-yard line, others sometimes have other ideas. For example, there was the gentleman who wrote into Mrs. Jones wanting his seats on the 55-yard line. Then there's another unsung hero who works behind the scenes. He's the publicity director. It's difficult for most football fans to resist a magazine with a picture of a familiar star on the cover and a story about him on the inside. That picture and that story usually originate with the college sports publicity man. It's also his job to see to the needs of newspaper, radio, motion picture, and TV folks on hand to cover his games. No small task. And from experience, I'd like to say that they do it beautifully and efficiently. SMU's Lester Jordan wrote his first publicity story on a football player back in 1922. And it seems that the subject of that article received so much razzing from his hometown cronies, he saw to it that Lester, who was then a lowly freshman, was rewarded with a good paddling. But Lester says that in spite of the painful launching of that career of his, he's continued to write athletic publicity stories for 31 years, and he wouldn't trade jobs with anybody. Now, what about all that gear that football players wear? Although the more than a dozen pieces of equipment worn by a football player are fairly standard, they do vary in size and identification numbers, and they must be carefully assigned to each player. At the University of Texas, equipment manager Jimmy Blaylock and his student assistants carry out this assignment. On the day of a game, they go to work right after breakfast time and they stay with it until midnight. They must see to it that equipment is checked in and checked out. They must look after the preparation of 10 to 15 gallons of orange juice to be swallowed at halftime and then after the game by the thirsty athletes. This, along with keeping up with more than a dozen practice footballs, that variety of cold and wet paraphernalia, all the other items that go to equip a football team, believe me, that makes a man-sized job for the equipment crews around the conference. Athletic trainers have a big responsibility too, for perhaps nowhere is the proverbial ounce of prevention more carefully practiced than in football. Eddie Wojcicki of Rice Institute hit a high point in his 24-year career in 1952 when he was chosen as head trainer for the United States Olympic team. Eddie says most of his bandaging or wrapping is a preventive measure. He calls it custom-made protection for ankles and wrists and those other joints that take a beating. When a player's hurt, he goes under the care of a team physician and is dropped from contact work until the doctor says it's okay to resume. All in all, that trainer's a busy fellow, responsible for duties that range from carrying out the doctor's orders to applying the smudge that cuts down glare on a sunny Saturday afternoon. And next to the players themselves, perhaps the most active group of people on the football scene are the cheerleaders. In addition to some ability in gymnastics, cheerleaders are by nature possessed of boundless energy and enthusiasm. At TCU, as at other conference schools, the student body selects their yell leaders by votes in the spring. Each group serves a full-year term. Well, campus chats with players like Ronald Clinkscale keep them posted on how things go with the team. Cheerleaders are the link between the team and other members of the student body. Like most well-organized activities, the antics of the yell leaders are well planned in advance. Many hours are devoted to practice. It's a lot of work, but they love it. As for the noise they generate, well, what would a football game be without it? Always adding their share of excitement and color to the games are the marches and the music of the bands in the conference. And here's the famous aggregation from Texas A&M College, a band that numbers some 300 members. The Aggie Band is under the direction of Colonel E.B. Adams. It devotes all of its classroom sessions to practice for the game-time performance. And then it spends some 5 additional hours each week on the drill field. That makes for precision and perfection. Hallmark of the Aggie Bands is the famed Aggie War Hymn written by Pinky Wilson in the trenches of France during World War I. Most college marching bands work out formations with printed instructions to each member showing his part of the maneuver. However, Colonel Adams and his drum majors go over each step in detail, then verbal instructions are passed on the drill field in the military manner by commands. And then the mascots. Of course, there are many kinds and sizes in the various colleges. Baylor's mascots, very aptly, are bears. Waco has no zoo, but the Bears of Baylor provide entertainment for thousands of visitors who come to watch their antics. The Bears' handlers are Baylor students who volunteer for the job, cleaning the pits, feeding the Bruins, and chaperoning them to, from, and during their public appearances. These handlers are Herb Jenny of Tulsa and Harold Hughes of El Paso, who are handling Topsy and Turvy, the Baylor twosome that won national fame of a sort when they swiped the referee's red marker during last Baylor-Wake Forest game. And with the arrival of the Baylor Bears at Baylor Stadium, that's our cue to go back to football and watch the football Bears play host to the Texas Longhorns. Texas leads early in the first quarter. L.G. Dupree takes a Texas punt on his own 33-yard line. The play is a tip-off on Baylor's keyed-up condition for a great game. They say that L.G. stands for long gone, and here's long gone Dupree for 67 yards and 6 points for the Bears. The Longhorns lead by 1 point. But the Longhorns are not long in putting more daylight in that margin. Number 2 for the Longhorns comes by air on a T. Jones pass to T. Stolhansky, and the score 14-6 Texas. Number 35 is Dick Ochoa. Remember what a beating he took all during the season on this kind of play when he didn't even have the ball. But Billy Quinn's the boy in possession. The man from San Antonio makes a pitch-out payoff for a 21-6 lead. Dawson's third point in a row is good. But those Bears never give up. They're fine competitors who stay in the game to a finish. Davidson's pass to Charlie Smith gets a first down on the Texas 23, good for 21 yards, and Baylor's bidding for a score. From the 9, co-captain Dick Palmer breaks over left guard for a goal line dive. That's a halftime score of 21-13, Texas in front. In the third period, success crowns another Baylor drive. Palmer sets it up on a tremendous burst of speed through the middle for 16 yards. And from the 1-yard line, Jerry Cootie gets an opening, and the Bears tighten up the gap, 21-20, Texas by a point. On the first play of the fourth quarter, the Longhorns use Dawson for bait. Ochoa moves outside for a lateral. T. Jones throws a key block, and the big fullback gets more help from Stolhansky at the 10. Another Dawson point after makes it 28-20 Texas. Following the kickoff, the Bears get organized on their 23. Cootie's, the day's big noise on the ground, adds 20 yards to his day's total of 116. This 77-yard Baylor drive rode the final 28 on the arm of Cotton Davidson. Charlie Smith once more serves as a successful battery mate. A block try for point left the Bears trailing the Longhorns by 2 points, 26-28. The Bears march right back. Here's a ground game all the way. Jerry Cootie ambles for 13 yards. Then Dick Palmer blasts the final 4 yards to punch Baylor into a sudden lead, 33-28. Only 5 minutes to play. Now comes one of the turning points of the 1952 season. The Longhorns start from their 26. We pick them up to 30. Stolhansky gets a first down pass from T. Jones. Gib Dawson adds 11 more to the Baylor 19-yard line. Then Dawson and Ochoa add 5 yards apiece, and we catch the action once more on Ochoa's 6-yard plunge through the middle that ends at the Baylor 6. Jones calls for Quinn over the right side to the 1-yard line. Just 39 seconds to go. And here's the kind that makes the Southwest Conference a fabulous football factory. Billy Quinn does it from the 1-yard line. Final score 35-33 Texas. 35,000 fans went home limp and exhausted. It's November 22nd in Houston. Rice and TCU tangle in an air battle featured by some great defensive play. McEachern's interception of a Rice pass puts the Frogies within striking distance on the Owl 13. On the 7, Mal Fowler from short position gives a good try. Rice holds him for a 3-yard gain. Then Fowler again, and this time it pays off. TCU 6-0. Late in the first period, the Frogs, wanting a first down by less than 1 yard, line up with Ray McCowan back to punt. And now Rice sets up a scoring chance. Hudson breaks through to block it. Kenny Paul recovers for the Owls on the TCU 27-yard line. On the next play, fence to make a page. He heaves a beauty down to Jack Day. Jack nails it on the 16, shakes off the challenge. This ball game's all tied up, 6-6. After the kickoff, TCU punts. The Owls move from their own 31. Maury Stone goes wide to the left, throws a fork-hander to Cassie Johnson. Good for a first down around midfield. Fence to make a gift to Stone once again, but this time for a poke at the TCU right side. Then Stone clears the line of scrimmage, gets 17 yards before Morgan Williams nails him with a sharp tackle from behind. TCU gets tough, and the Frogs take over on downs, only to run into a stubborn Rice defense. Once again, McCowan's back for a 4th down punt, and once again it's blocked. Jack Day fouls it up, and winner in the wild scramble is Dan Hart of Rice on the TCU 17. The Owls hammer at the TCU line. Garbrecht gets 7 yards on a pitch-out that carries to the 10-yard line. And then Mr. Cassie Johnson drives through center for 8 more. That makes it a first down for Rice on the TCU 2-yard line. But the Frogies have never been and never will be easy to whip. They stop 3 line plays and a pass. The ball goes over on down. TCU lines up once again with McCowan deep in the end zone to punt out to safety. That boy can really go under pressure. A good kick carries all the way down to midfield. Safety man Horton DeCesta's got it. He wipes out some 25 yards of it going back to the Froggy 23-yard line. Now Ashley Proctor of Rice is in the backfield for the Owls at quarterback. His first pass for the Owls makes history. Good to Jack Day for a touchdown. The Owls lead 12-6. Now for the records, let's see a remarkable one-man show. McCowan completes 6 straight passes. The first one to Teddy Bott. Number 2 coming up. It's good to Bob Blair for 11 yards. Now watch pass number 3. This one to Vaught again for 15 yards. What a show this McCowan put on. Number 4, and again it's to Vaught. And number 5, a shift to the other end. Bobby Blair for 9 yards. And now with number 6 coming up, you'll see just how McCowan did it. It's good again to Ted Vaught. But the Owls' radar finally got the range, and Rice won 12-6. November 29th, SMU and TCU tangle on a rain-soaked stadium in Dallas. 38 degrees, 32,000 fans. Sammy Stollenwerk quickly converts a pass pattern into a 24-yard broken field run. The Ponies pick up a first down on the TCU 21. Now the Mustangs raise their sights to go aloft. Stollenwerk once again pulls the trigger. It's a long one intended for Jimmy Horn, but Charlie Rogers intercepts for the Frogies at the TCU 10-yard line, and the Pony drive comes to a halt. Early in the second chapter now, TCU on the Pony 36. Sophomore Ronald Clinkscale goes the distance. He sweeps wide around left end, gets in the clear. The rest of it's all down the sidelines. Crouch's kick is good. TCU leads 7-0. As the second half opens, Clinkscale takes over again. Looks like he'll go all the way on a pitch out from Fowler, but watch that number 26 for SMU. That's Bill Chrysler. He's down. He's up again. And makes a nice recovery to stall the runner on the Pony 39, a 38-yard scamper. The Mustangs hold TCU and then bring out their own sophomore star. Don Kilgore of Denison cracks the middle for 16 yards. Good for a first down on the Froggy 13. Last play in the third quarter. Kilgore once again for the Ponies. He romps through left guard and smashes 9 to the Froggy 4-yard line. A change in direction now as fourth quarter comes up, and Kilgore goes once again. A touchdown, the extra point is good. The Mustangs move into a tie score, 7-7. But that's all for SMU, and Clinkscale moves from tailback for TCU. He fakes a pass, falls in behind good interference. Val Joe Walker gets in from the secondary and brings Ronnie down on the 31-yard line, SMU territory. First and 10 for the Froggies. No tricks this time. Clinkscale fires a bullseye to Jack Ray. Gene Gillis does the stop action for the Ponies on the SMU 20. A pair of line plays fail to work, so the Froggies try the pass combination again. It clicks, Clinkscale to Ray, and TCU is just 12 yards away from the Pony goal line. Ronald Clinkscale once more. Good blocks. And he's to the line of scrimmage, and from there it is all Clinkscale. Final score, 14-7, TCU. New Year's Day, and the Southwest Conference champions, the Longhorns, beat Tennessee's Vols in the Cotton Bowl at Dallas. Dave Griffith of Tennessee has trouble with a punt in his own end zone. The Longhorns really play it heads up. Texas takes the lead of a safety midway in the first quarter, 2-0 Longhorns. In the second period, the Longhorns have recovered a Tennessee fumble, and Ochoa drives to the Volunteer 5-yard line. Here comes a Texas switch to deception and speed. Jones fakes to Ochoa, gives instead to Dawson. That looks familiar, doesn't it? Gibb knows just how to play it, too. Look at the practice he's had all the way for a tally. The point is good off Dawson's toe. Add 7 points to 2. The Longhorns lead 9-0. But Tennessee's no novice at this business. Jimmy Wade at tailback for the Vols. There's a faker and good blocking for a 16-yard run up the left side. But Wade and Tennessee are stopped at the 19-yard line, and so the half ends 9-0 Texas. Halftime entertainment is topped off by the Kilgore Rangerettes, known far and wide for their glamorous and well-executed entertainment. In the third period, T. Jones hurries back to pass. This one was well rehearsed, and Billy Quinn takes it at the 37, adds 7 more in his own account for a 23-yard pickup. But the Vols intercept a pass, and here comes single wing again. You don't see this formation much anymore. After a full spinner, Ray Bird over the right side for 11 yards and a first down. Out of the same spinner, there's a pass play, too. This time, Pat Oleshak has it, takes from Bird and passes to Vic Kolenik for a great catch on the Texas 44, good for 22 yards. Bob Rayleigh made the stop for the Longhorns. But a fumble is expensive for Tennessee. Texas takes over and calls on Ochoa. They call him El Toro, and here's why, because that does it the hard way. Power through the middle again, and it's Ochoa who carries the mail. Dick rams into the snake pit and plants the ball on the Tennessee 1-inch line. Now suppose we take a slow-motion look at the payoff. Billy Quinn gets 6 points. Gib Dawson adds the extra singleton. Final score in the Cotton Bowl, Texas 16, Tennessee nothing. And so the 1952 football highlights of the Southwest Conference have passed in review, and to most of us that means just one thing, that we're all set for the 1953 conference season, when we'll go to the games with Humboldt.